The man was just about to eat his sandwich when he was shot. When he looks back, the killer is saluting him in triumph. The next thing he knows, he's being dragged 1,000 miles. But the next day, in the same place, the man who was shot becomes the killer, and this man miraculously comes back to life. But before that, he had died 138 times. It turns out that Jack is somehow trapped in a time loop. The first thing he does when he wakes up is to avoid the machete. While bending over to lift his pants, he anticipates all the killer's moves. His opponent's every move was under his control. In the face of the killer's weapon, Jack defeated him with just a t-shirt. The killer got up to attack and got splashed in the face. Then he wiped his face for him, and Jack calmly watched the next second. At this point, if nothing else, killer number 2 is about to make his entrance. As expected, the moment the killer got up, Gatling shot him with 180 rounds per second. Jack killed him with a single stab while he was in a lull, but the Gatling was out of control. But Jack didn't panic at all. He dodged all the bullets calmly, and then Saturday paralyzed on a sofa. He didn't know why he had come back to life indefinitely. All he knows is that the last person he saw before it all began was his ex-wife. The plane suddenly crashed into the building, and Jack dodged the propellers again. He looked at the time and grabbed his clothes, ready to jump, because the plane was about to explode. But what he didn't realize was that he was just trying to be cool, and he missed. He was crushed on the spot. Luckily, his life is unlimited with his previous experience. This time he jumped into the van with precision. Then with steady steps, he walked to the center of the road and dragged the rich kid out. He even had a line in mind for him. There was not much time left for Jack, because a third group of assassins had arrived. These two sisters are a tough bunch. Out of the 100 times Jack was killed, they took half of the heads, and Jack died in a variety of ways. Not only did he crash into a bus and get a face full of glass, they even blew his head off in the street, even his bladder. There was no humanity at all. But despite all this, Jack appeared again with his unlimited resurrection. But there were many more killers coming after him. Like this midget, Jack was sent a grenade when he wasn't paying attention. And this guy who looks like himself. The sickest is Linda with a knife, because every time she shows up, she cuts Jack's head off, and she'd always tell him her name before she left. Although occasionally Jack could tell the killer back, but it was like a game. Jack was always going through one level and then the next. As he was cued more and more, he realized something strange, that every time he didn't live past 1247, the killer always got to him before that. Obviously, he must have some kind of locator on his body, so he quickly rushed into the toilet and dug out all the places he could put the tracker. Obviously in the women's restroom. This man is pulling out his waist. Even when the waiter questioned him, he invited him. It turns out that the man is not a pervert, but wants to find the tracker inside his body. He's been killed countless times because he's caught in a time loop, but before he could find the tracker, he was shot to death once again. Before he died, he looked at a picture of his ex-wife, as if she was the only one who could solve the mystery for him. Just 3 months ago, his ex-wife, who was a physics expert, suddenly found Jack. She thought she wanted to get back together with him, but she took his hair without saying a word. She told him to take care of the kids. Although Jack agreed, he went back to the bar and got busy with a woman. He ignored his ex-wife's calls for help. That's when his first time loop began. In order to find the truth, he had to call his ex-wife again, but the person who answered the phone was his ex-wife's boss. He said that his ex-wife was dead and he would be the next to die. Jack was totally confused. Now he can only follow the clues left by his ex-wife in the book to find the answer, but he accidentally found his son in the underground plaza. After the divorce, Jack felt guilty for not being able to spend time with his son, so he planned to spend unlimited time to make up for his regret. I didn't expect the two of them to get along so well as soon as they met. When they walked out of the mall, Jack realized that for the first time, he had lived until 1250. Just as he was wondering why the killer hadn't shown up yet, he suddenly thought of something. It turned out that the underground mall blocked the signal of the tracker. As expected, the killers appeared one after another in the next second. In order to protect his son, he blocked all the bullets with his body. At that moment, he felt his son's love for the first time. When he came back to life again, he started to ask the killer where the tracker was. But the assassin was so tough that he would rather be beaten to death than tell him. Jack had no choice but to call a security expert. He thinks that if it's not on his body, it must be in his teeth. Jack then thought of the dentist he'd been working out with. After pulling out all the teeth, Jack found the tracker. But the next thing he knew, the killer was on the scene. In the days that followed, he used the tracker to neutralize one head after another. Eventually, he killed them all. He put their bodies together. He detonated them with a grenade. The bad guys couldn't stop Jack anymore. He had to look for a more difficult copy, the head of security at his ex-wife's company. By now, Jack was feeling pretty confident. As soon as he saw the front door, He put his foot in the gas tank. After his last experience, he flew his car right in. The security guards went up and opened fire on Jack. Unbeknownst to them, Jack was waiting for them to take the bait. With a loud bang, he took out the guard, but the captain's gun was on his head. I can't do this all day. The third time Jack got smart, he took out a killer who looked just like him. With his ID card, he managed to infiltrate the base, but he couldn't get on the elevator with his card. This immediately alerted the police. Although he killed him easily, he attracted the captain again. Seeing that the other side is so crowded, Jack shot himself. In this cycle, he finally arrived at the final level, but waiting for him was Linda Longknife, who had killed him countless times. A man with a gun can't beat Linda, who only knows how to use a knife. What's even worse is that the man has been decapitated by Linda countless times. It turns out Jack is stuck in a time loop. Just when he was looking for the culprit, he got stuck at Linda's level. No matter how hard Jack tried, Linda was always able to hit him in the vitals. It wasn't until he'd been killed 153 times that it dawned on him. It was impossible for a gun to defeat a sword, so he found a Chinese master to learn the art of sword fighting. But as a rookie, all he could do was take a beating. But Jack didn't lack for time. He gradually realized the true meaning of swordsmanship. Until the 200th resurrection, he finally defeated his master. Once again, he set out on the road to revenge. When he came back to the hall, he put down his gun. Instead, he reverently picked up his sword. This scene made Linda look disdainful, but when she fought with Jack, her hair was chopped off. Jack even fought her with one hand. Linda never dreamed that the knife skill she was so proud of would be useless against Jack. In the end, Jack no longer had any pity for her and stabbed Linda's fragile chest. Seeing his girlfriend killed, the bald captain took revenge on Jack. He was stabbed to death. Jack also met the final boss. It turns out that he is his ex-wife's boss, but against the experienced Jack, he was defeated and quickly subdued by a knife. The boss then realized that his ex-wife had already activated the time machine. It was originally used by the boss to control the world, but his ex-wife found out about the conspiracy. She used the machine on Jack because she always believed that Jack would stop it. Seeing the failure of her plot, the furious boss threatened Jack's son. This definitely touched Jack's soft spot. After stabbing his boss to death, he rushed to look for his son. However, what awaited him was the cold body of his son. Just when Jack was in despair, there was a loud bang in the sky. It turns out that the overloading of the time machine will cause the world to restart again. Now that his ex-wife is dead, there is no one else in the world who can stop the time loop. After being reborn, Jack just gave up and let the killers kill him again and again. I don't know how many times he was ravaged, but one thing finally made Jack realize the guilt he felt for his son. Instead of wasting his time here, he should spend time with his son. In the days that followed, Jack was able to make amends, but he and his son had been through a lot of destruction until the day his son told Jack he talked to his mom on the phone this morning, and the time was 7:03, which means that Jack had just entered the time reboot. His wife wasn't killed, so he rushed to the company to seek confirmation. Here he actually found the truth. The time of his ex-wife's death was 7:14, which means if we find her 14 minutes before he was killed, then everything would be solved. This time he races against the clock and leaps straight into the helicopter. After taking out the shooter, it threatened the pilot and headed straight for the company building. The assassin had just posed for the launch when he was shot alive by a Gatling. Then Jack stabbed the security chief in the bladder and took out the boss with his shots. Managed to save his ex-wife before he was killed up front. The two of them embraced each other tightly, thinking that everything would end there. But the time machine didn't stop. The ex-wife said the only way to stop the explosion is for Jack to become one with the machine. In order to ensure that his wife and children will have a better tomorrow, Jack decided to enter the machine. Whether or not he succeeds, we'll just have to wait for the second installment.